my name is Dana Johnson. I'm from Carrollton, Texas, and I'm a freshman at the University of Arkansas. Beside me is the Riverbank in the Springtime, created by Vincent van Gogh at the Dallas Museum of Art.
Born in Holland in 1853, Vincent van Gogh was an intelligent but disturbed individual. After studying in Belgium, he made his way to France, where he studied with many famous artists, including Monet. Through this series of paintings, one can see the significance of the influence of Impressionism on his style. To start, this scene was a popular era for Impressionists to paint. A favorite quote of mine from Van Gogh is, "It is not the language of painters, but the language of nature which one should listen to. The feelings for things themselves, for reality, is more important than the feelings for pictures." This quote exemplifies his love and appreciation for nature, which he shared with Impressionists. Throughout this series, one can see him transition from a darker to a lighter palette as the influence from his fellow artists becomes stronger. The scene has been a fundamental part of Parisian life for hundreds of years, and in this painting, Van Gogh captures the relaxed feeling and relief from Paris city life. Some of Van Gogh's most popular works include The Starry Night and Sunflowers. Sadly, his artist career was short-lived, devoting only the last 10 years of his life to painting and only selling one piece of artwork in his lifetime. Riverbank in Springtime is naturalistic styled. The naturalistic style attempts to depict a scene without exotic or implausible elements. This painting shows a river surrounded by plants and trees with a bridge in the background. This painting is primarily full of analogous colors with different shades of blues, greens, and yellows. Aside from those main three colors, sparing amounts of orange and brown are used. In this painting, Van Gogh used short, thick brushstrokes paired with light color values and hues to create a sense of tranquility. Similar to most of Van Gogh's work, this painting is oil paint on canvas. Van Gogh layered the brush around the river, and this painting contains next to no negative space. There's no defining lines or edges in this painting, but general shapes and silhouettes of objects. This painting has an asymmetrical balance with more trees on the right side of the painting and the majority of the lake and bridge in the background of the left half. This painting is an example of biography. One can see the changes in his style in this series because of his experiences with other artists, giving an underlying meaning to the artwork and a glimpse of what was going on in his life. He decided to paint this series although he disapproved of the rapidly changing city. This was the source of one of his disagreements with Impressionists, who found that the renovations created immaculate views to paint, enjoying being able to create art in plain air. Notice how the brush and trees, created with lighter colors, takes up most of the painting, and that the bridges in the distant background, created with darker colors, used towards the top. As it is spring, the leaves should not be changing color yet. In the 1880s, Napoleon III was in control over France and had created a plan that would modernize Paris. Many families in France were relocated and had no place to live because their houses had been destroyed. The goal was to make France less congested with the intention of man making nature more beautiful. Van Gogh believes that the renovations to the city left no space for individuality, which would mean he would have to leave. These growing feelings of unease can be seen subtly in his artwork. This painting is Impressionist styled. The style of art focuses on open composition and the depiction of life. Some would say that you can describe the Impressionist style as if one painted something right after just catching a glimpse of it. Impressionist artwork is created by using pure, unblended colors. This style focuses on painting how light reflects off objects as opposed to objects themselves. An Impressionist painting to compare this to would be Claude Monet's The Iris Garden at Giverny. One can see the similarities in the short, thick brushstrokes and undefined objects, playing on the use of bright color and how light reflects on plants opposed to how the plants actually look. Both use a limited sense of perspective, showing depth without actual proportions being the main focus. As Van Gogh picked up techniques from Monet from working with him in France, the influence he had on Van Gogh is easy to see when comparing these artworks. In this painting, one can begin to see Van Gogh also adopting the Neo-Impressionist style. This style uses dots to build up color and create images. He picked up the Pointillist style from another friend of his, Georges Seurat. This painting can be compared to one of Seurat's work, Alfalfa Fields in St. Denis. Although Van Gogh uses thicker brushstrokes instead of just dots, the technique to build up color to create images instead of drawing outlines can be seen in the trees and brush. This picture doesn't have some huge meaningful background that's known. Regardless, I was drawn to it. The scene immediately reminded me of the river and the bridge in the backyard at home. This river runs for miles in each direction, and my friends and I would play in it almost every day until my parents yelled at me to come back inside. Seeing this painting puts a smile on my face and reminds me of the time of my childhood. When I was younger, I used to watercolor paint almost every day. I enjoyed splashing colors on the page and watching them all run together. I used a short brush strokes and blotches, lathering my little paintbrush with as much paint as possible, filling my paper with randomly applied thick marks until there were no empty spaces. Going to the Dallas Museum of Art and being able to look at the other paintings, I realized that Impressionism is my favorite style, and that while doing a report in college, it's nice to be able to relate with a known artist back to a simpler time in my life.